Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please let me know when you get on if you can hear and see me okay. I am here with our returning champion, Jim Sabellico, Legiit co-founder. Something clever that I can't think of also.
Yeah.
I really want to say something, but I dropped the ball there.
That's all right.
Florin says, yo, Chris, I had to be the first one on. Laugh out loud. Yo, Jim.
What's up, Florin? How are you, man? Hope that you're doing well.
We've got some good stuff for you tonight. We're going to wait just a little bit for everybody to jump on.
I have a fun fact, if I can share with you while we're waiting. So, I don't know if maybe you've heard or not, but there was a thing called, you know what a taki is? A taki is a type of potato chip, and someone found a giant one. Weird, but they found the giant one. It was like misshapen in the manufacturing process, and they sold it on eBay for like $12,000.
I love capitalism.
Right? So the good part is my son came up to me earlier and he said, Dad, look at this. He found this is a Triscuit. The size of this thing. It's like a moon rock. So naturally, I set it up on eBay, and we're going to see what happens.
It's a Triscuit?
It's a Triscuit. It's like a taki, but it's a Triscuit.
I know what a Triscuit is. It's just, wow.
You see the size of this thing?
Yeah.
It's solid. It's like a moon rock. Starting bid 99 cents. We're going to watch it go. You can all be a part of the experiment. Right? Very strange.
Very.
That was my fun tidbit for tonight.
All right. Florin says, on my way home. Barack says, hello, legends. What's up, Barack?
What's up?
Stephanie says hi. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello.
There's the desktop notification. For whatever good those do. Just hit up support, Florin. That's they'll take care of you.
So I guess I could jump into what I have to jump into if you'd like, or we can.
Sam says hello, hello. It's the best freelancing show. What's up, Sam? Good to see you.
What's up, Sam?
And yes, Jim, you might as well go for it. People are starting to jump on now. So
it's jiggling. All right, cool. So I'm going to share my screen, and let's see how that goes. Hang on for 1 second. Let me just get that up here.
Okay, Boomer.
Take it easy.
Facebook user says, hey, guys, if you're in a group, you're going to have to follow click the link to have your name show up. You don't have to. All right.
All right. So we can see my screen. We're good here?
Yep.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. Tonight, we're going to talk about why winners win, which is something that Chris and I talk about sometimes. You know, we deal with a lot of people, and even just within ourselves, it's a trend that we notice that there are some people who just find the way to win no matter what, and no matter what the circumstance is, or no matter what they're up against, or no matter what the obstacle or the situation, they find a way to win, and they find a way to turn it to their advantage. And it's not some like magical thing that only certain people are gifted at in life. It's really very simple, but it comes down to some very simple, some attitudes and some practices and some things that if you could implement these in your life, and again, they're super simple, but if you could be a little bit disciplined and learn these lessons and find ways to apply them in your own life, you're going to find yourself in a position that you're going to start to win. And once you start to get those couple little wins, that builds up that momentum, and it helps to take you to the next level, the next level, the next level. And then you become one of those people who are a winner. You always find a way to win in every situation, and you're able to kind of live your best life and not have to just accept whatever comes. You're able to take advantage of every scenario and live your best life, which sounds, I think, like something that everyone would want to do. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but everyone enjoys winning. It's a lot more fun than losing. And, you know, why not? So let's dive into this. And Before I actually do that, here's what I want to say. I had a crazy day. I spent hours trying to fix a problem. I didn't make this presentation, in full disclosure, until about half an hour ago. My point in telling you that is this. I made a commitment to show up tonight, 8 o'clock on a Thursday night, after working a full day, to provide value to you guys, and I found a way. So instead of just saying, hey, I had a crazy day, sorry guys, I'm not going to make it, or instead of showing up here without a presentation, instead of giving you just fluff, I found a way to make it happen. So just keep that in mind. There's always a way to just get through it, right? It's never always going to be easy, but if you can stick to it, you can get through it. So who am I? My name is Jim Sabellico. My background officially is in business marketing and development. That's pretty much all there is to say about that. I've been in business for almost as long as I've been alive. My partner here, obviously, you know, Chris M. Walker, who is a legend. He also has a background in business, marketing, and community building, which I like to call his biggest strength, aside from making lemonade out of bad situations. So that's another thing that we're going to talk on a little bit later. But let's dive into some of the actual content here. First thing I want to talk about is yesterday's home runs are not going to win today's games. So that's Babe Ruth, if you don't know who that is. What that phrase means is if you had a really productive and awesome day yesterday, that's great. I'm very happy for you. But it doesn't mean you're going to have a very productive day today. You still need to show up. You still need to practice. You still need to put in the work. You still need to put in the effort. So you need to be consistent in your effort and disciplined to put in effort every day, day after day, no matter what. It doesn't matter how great your day was yesterday. It doesn't matter how much you got done. It doesn't matter how much you sold. It doesn't matter anything. You could have had an amazing day and set records, but what matters is today. You're in front of today, and today's in front of you. You have to put in the effort to make sure that today is going to be the best day. You only have one shot, and it doesn't matter how great you did yesterday. It also doesn't matter how poorly you did yesterday. So if you had a really terrible day yesterday, your car broke down, your girlfriend broke up with you, your computer broke, it doesn't matter. That's yesterday. That doesn't matter today. So take advantage of today and pour all the effort that you have into today. Then do the same thing tomorrow. That's the big secret to all of this. And it sounds very simple and it almost sounds dumb to say, but the big secret of all of this is put your heart, put as much effort as you physically possibly can into today, and then do it again tomorrow. That's it. That could summarize this entire presentation right there. But I have more. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. Look at this picture here. You may or may not know who the guy on the bottom is. That's Michael Phelps, who set all sorts of records as a gold medal Olympic winner. He's an amazing swimmer. Everyone says he's awesome. I think he has the record, if I'm wrong, for the most Olympic wins. But look at this picture. Where is he looking? Straight ahead on his goal. The guy next to him, he's looking at him. Guess who won? Michael Phelps. He had one job to do, was to swim straight to the end of that lane. And guess what he did? He did his job, and he did it well. The guy behind him or next to him, he was focused on the winner. And guess who won? Michael Phelps. So look, especially in this realm where it's easy to look at another business or your neighbor or someone else who's having all sorts of success, right? You look at, you may be just starting an SEO company and looking at Chris and being like, wow, that's crazy. I'm never going to get to that level. Or you could be just starting out. It doesn't even matter. If you're worried about what someone else is doing or how they're winning or what they're achieving, you're never going to get to that next level. You need to focus on yourself and your goal. That person, you have no idea what their circumstances were, what their preparation was, what advantages they have, what disadvantages they have. Everyone has their own unique situation. So you need to be able to focus on yourself and your goal and not worry about what someone else is doing, how they got there, or when they got there. That's a very key important part that people need to understand. Look at any business you want. Doesn't matter if it's freelancing, doesn't matter if you're selling widgets. Focus on your business. Don't worry about your competitors, what they're doing. Worry about how you can provide the very best business that you can. That's very important. Let's go to step 2. It's what you do in the dark that puts you in the light. Now, this is a video that Chris will admit is probably one of his favorites, and he shared with me a couple times. I want you guys to take a look at this, and I'm going to play it now. Hopefully you can hear it. But this is so impactful, and I'll follow up with why in a second. If it is playing. No? Hello? Maybe it's not. All right, so maybe I won't.
You got to go back. There you go.
Okay. I'm not very good with computers.
Tomorrow reminds me just when. Can't quite see the end. How can I rely on my breaking my hands to hands? I heard all you said, don't say anything. It's the last goodbye, I swear.
All right, so the point of that story there is Michael Phelps trains 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, 50 miles a week he swims. That's how much preparation he puts into that 1 minute or less competition that he has. 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, 50 miles for 1 minute of actual competition. What you have to look at that is how much effort are you putting in to your services that you provide to your customers? I guarantee it's not that. So you want to look at a guy who wins all these gold medals and say, wow, that's awesome. He won those gold medals. He must be gifted. Or you want to look at the business next to you and say, wow, they're doing such an amazing business. How come? Look at the preparation that they put into it. Look at how much effort they put into delivering their service. How much effort goes into delivering a quality product to their customer. You don't see that stuff. That's the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. The people who are up at 4 o'clock in the morning still working on their services, on their craft. The people who are just going to bed at 5 o'clock or just waking up at 5 o'clock. The people who are sacrificing the weekend parties. The people who are missing family gatherings. If you're willing to put in the work, that's how you get the benefits. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't need to not live a life, right? You don't need to just forget your family exists. There can be a balance, but you have to be willing to put in the work by yourself when it sucks in order to get what you want. If you want to achieve those things and you want everyone to see your awesome status on Facebook and how your business is crushing it, you have to be willing to take the hits in the dark by yourself. It's not fun. It's not sexy, but that's how life works.
Instagram lies to you sometimes.
Yes. So this one here, if you do what you always did, you'll get what you always got. And it's so simple, but people don't stop to think about it. If you do the same thing you did yesterday, guess what you're going to get? The same thing you got yesterday. Until you put yourself in a position that you're able to go above and beyond the level of effort that you put in or the level of knowledge that you gain, you're not going to get anything different. If you show up tomorrow with the same amount of knowledge and the same amount of effort and expect a miracle to happen or your business to grow or your family to fall in love with you or your marriage to be amazing, it's not going to work. You need to put in consistently more effort, more knowledge every day if you want to get better. And again, it doesn't have to be over the top that you have to sacrifice your entire life. Spend 10 minutes reading before you go to bed. Instead of scrolling Facebook in the bathroom while you sit in the toilet, read a book. Educate yourself a little bit. Take the time to put in the knowledge into yourself. And then guess what? If you keep investing in yourself, you're going to start to see your skills advance. Your knowledge advances. You're more prepared for the situations that you come across. If you invest in yourself and you're able to put in 5% more effort tomorrow, your business is going to start to grow. Your life is going to grow. Your marriage is going to grow. Your bank account's going to grow. You have to be willing to do something you've never done before if you want to get something you never had. It's really as simple as that. Do you know who this is? Somebody answer for me. Chris, you're allowed.
Mickey Mouse.
Okay. I think I'm willing to bet pretty much everyone here knows who this is. Why? It's a mouse. People would look at this and be like, you're going to make a mouse world famous? How's that going to work? Walt Disney said it's kind of fun to do the impossible. And guess what? It really is. But you have to be willing to understand that impossible is a word. The only things that are impossible are things people haven't done yet. It's really as simple as that. I don't know how else to describe this, but look at this. Before someone invented a car, you would say, well, we all have horses. It's impossible to have a faster or more efficient route of transportation. Then all of a sudden someone said, I have a crazy idea that everyone's going to think is crazy. I'm going to invent a machine that you can sit in and it's going to go faster and farther than a horse. Everyone called him nuts until he invented the car, and then now everyone has cars. Elon Musk wanted to build rockets that could be reusable. Everyone thought he was nuts. It's impossible. Can't do it. Guess what? He did it. Last week, they came back to Earth for a successful round trip. Insane, but you have to be willing to believe that the impossible is possible. Just because someone says it can't be done doesn't mean that's fact. It just means they haven't tried hard enough. So you have to be willing to look at things and situations and understand that just because you haven't done it yet doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means you haven't done it yet. So understand that in that moment, look at it as a challenge. Don't think, can't be done, not going to try. Think, how can I get through this situation? How can I do something different that no one's ever done before? And if you believe it's possible to happen, if you believe that you can do it, you can. It's really as simple as that. You just have to truly believe that you can do it. One of the big problems that people have is that you're not living your dreams because you're living your fears. This is something that I see all the time, and it's such a hard mindset to get out of. What if? I'm afraid of what's going to happen if I fail. Or what happens if I invest money in my business and I don't make it? What happens if I ask that girl out and she says no? What happens if I start a business and I don't make a lot of money? What if? It costs you the exact same amount of money and effort to believe or not believe. Why are you wasting your time not believing things? You have to put your mindset in a position where you're only looking at things that benefit you. Don't even waste your time on worrying about the what ifs. And I don't mean that to be unrealistic. You should have some sort of a backup plan, right? You can't be reckless, especially if your life affects others around you. It's not fair to your family or whoever else if you just, let's say, risk the house and now they're affected by it. But you have to be willing and you have to be able to look at the positive in every situation. Not sit there and say, hey, what happens if I spend the next 3 years of my life working on this business and I don't make $1 million? Believe it. It costs you the same amount of money to believe as to disbelieve. So don't waste your time. Start looking at things and believing that you can achieve them. Believe that they can happen. See that they can happen. You have to visualize what's going to happen before it does. And I understand that some of this sounds like weird, trippy, I'm out of my mind, but I'd be willing to bet if you ask 10 of the most successful people you know, they visualize their goals before they happen. They picture what their house is going to look like. They picture what their life is going to look like. They picture what it's like to wake up in the morning with $1 million in their bank account and a beautiful wife next to them and happy kids and a happy house and all these things that they want, their goals. They visualize what it's like to have those. You have to believe and you have to see it before it becomes reality. All right, hear this one. The first step towards success is taken when you refuse to be captive of the environment in which you find yourself. Think about that for a second. Let me explain it a different way. Let's say you take 2 seeds, right? Seeds, flowers, right? Flower seeds. You put them in pots. You take 1 pot and you put it in the basement in the dark and you don't water it. You take the other seed and you put it in a pot and you put it outside and you water it every day. The seed is not the problem. It's the environment the seed's in. One of them is going to grow. One of them is not. It doesn't mean that the seed is bad. The same thing is true of you. If you have a goal, look at the environment that you're in. Look at the people who you're surrounded by. Are they watering your seed or not? Are they helping you grow or not? Just because you're not growing doesn't mean you're broken or your idea is bad. You're not surrounding yourself with the people who are going to take you to the next level. The people who were talking about, hey, remember when, or, we used to do this, or, talking about People Magazine or all this junk that's not actually beneficial to what you're trying to do in life. Those are the things you need to look out for and the things you need to be conscious of when you're chasing your goals. You need to find yourself in a position where you surround yourself with people who are on the same path. Now, I understand that that's not easy for everyone because sometimes you don't physically have access to those people or whatever reason you could possibly make up. There's a way around it. If you want to be surrounded by successful people, it's as simple as this. Go on your phone, go on YouTube and start listening to interviews with 5 successful people. When you're walking, when you're in the car, surround yourself with those people. Just because you can't physically be around them doesn't mean you can't mentally be around them. Read books. Go to the library, take a book out. Read everything that person's ever written. There's ways to get yourself around successful people, to get yourself into an environment where you can grow. You have to be willing to take a look at your life and figure out what's holding you back and what's going to help you grow. And the things that are holding you back, you have to be willing to have an honest conversation with yourself and find a way to remove those from your life. Now, it doesn't mean that if your family members don't agree with you or they think that your goals are crazy, that you have to divorce your wife and never talk to your family again. You can still be with them, but you have to limit the impact that they have on your goals. Don't talk about them. Find ways to separate the two entirely. You have to find a way to make it happen and stop making excuses. Here's one that's incredibly important that I don't think enough people pay attention to. I don't know how many of you have kids. If you do, pay attention to exactly what they do because they have the entire thing figured out. I'm convinced of that. Think about this. Picture a little kid, 3 years old. They want ice cream. How do they get it? They ask for it. You say no. Mommy says no. All right, they go ask dad. Dad says no. What do? They cry and whine and throw a fit and don't stop until they get what they want. They don't just say, oh, can't have ice cream, forget it, I give up. They don't give up until they get what they want. Why aren't you doing the same thing? Step 2. Look at a 1-year-old who's learning to walk. That 1-year-old has never walked before. They have no idea if they can do it. They don't think they can't. They don't know if they can, but they try. The first time they try and they fall. Guess what? They try again. No one's ever told them, hey, you're never going to walk. They walk, they fall, they get up, they walk, they fall, they get up, they walk, they fall, they get up, they walk, they keep walking. It's as simple as that. It happens for all of them. Stop complaining the first time you fall and saying, oh, that's it, I'll never walk. Just do it. You can do these things. You have to just stop giving up the first time something in your life says no. Figure out what you want and go get it, and don't stop till you get it. You can either make an excuse or you can make an effort. You cannot make both. This is incredibly important. I see this all the time. People are going to say, I didn't have the same access he did. I didn't have the same advantages. I didn't have the same schooling. You had a head start because you had more followers. You started a month before I did. I don't care. Everyone started somewhere. You can either try, go out and make an effort, or you can make an excuse and stay in the same spot. Neither one is going to cost you any more than the other one. Both of them cost the same. You can go out and make an effort. You can make an excuse. Go make an effort. Excuses are not going to put you closer to your goals. Effort will. It doesn't matter if you're perfect. It doesn't matter if you fail. It doesn't matter if you try and you fail and you try and you fail. All that matters is you tried and you keep trying. Make an effort and you will get where you want to go. Coming back to me. Okay. That was the end of my slide. Again, this is a slideshow I put together at the last minute. And I reinforce that fact because I did not give up on the fact that I committed to something and I found a way to make it happen. I want you guys to chase down your goals and not give up on them until you get them. It does not matter what comes up in the way. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be a TV show you want to watch or the bed that's calling your name that you just want to sleep because you're tired. Guess what? When you wake up tomorrow morning and you're upset that you don't have what you want, wonder why. Because you decided it was easier to give up on what you wanted for something that was more comfortable. Again, you don't have to live a life of pain. You could live any life you imagine. You just have to be willing to make the effort to make it happen. So I'm going to stop rambling because that was a lot. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful to everyone. I really desperately want you guys to succeed, and I want you to achieve, and I want you to get all these things because there's literally nothing stopping you but yourself. So please ask questions. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to share as much information as I possibly can. And I know that was a lot, but hopefully that was helpful for someone.
First of all, people really got to start telling me when they turn the screen off. Second of all, that was amazing. Thank you, Jim. I agree with everything. And if you're still, everybody that's on, just give Jim a thank you for that, or I agree, or thumbs up, or something like that to let Jim know that you appreciated all that. And then we'll see if there's any questions, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Lauren says, we already did that. Let's see. I think this was Amber. Amber said, hey, guys. Stephanie says, I just discovered Legiit. Well, welcome aboard. Victor says, hey, guys. What's up, Victor? Simo says, hey, guys. It's been forever since I attended one of your lives. Yeah, we were just talking about that. We're like, where's Simo been? Like, everybody around the whole headquarters was like that today.
It's true.
Ali says, hey, guys. What's up, Ali? Ishmael says, true. I don't know which part that is, but it was all true, so good. Somebody else says, so true. So if you're in one of the groups, you're going to have to turn on posting so we can see it. But if you don't want to, that's fine too. So that is it. If anybody has any questions about anything that Jim talked about, or freelancing, or business, or mindset, or anything else, we can get into that now. Yeah. I don't really have anything else of my own lined up. How's the weather, Jim? Any more wind issues?
The weather here is it's rather nuts. We had a hurricane blow through, but it actually wasn't super close to us, so we didn't really have the rain. We just had the wind from it. But it was deceivingly powerful and took down quite a lot of trees.
And a trampoline.
And a trampoline right over the fence. That was fun.
Yeah. All right.
So one thing I guess I can throw out there, because so we're here on the freelance Fastlane happy hour, and you're like, I'm a freelancer. This isn't really a freelancing skill. It's more like motivation. All right, I came here to be pumped up. But the important part, I think, for everyone to understand is everyone needs a little bit of motivation, and they need some inspiration every once in a while. It doesn't matter how far along you are. It doesn't matter, there's a term, I think it's motivation zombies, right? People who just constantly watch motivation videos but don't do anything. That just goes back to the efforts versus excuses thing. All you have to do is try, but absorb motivation and absorb inspiration any way you can, right? So it doesn't matter if you need to listen to motivational videos on YouTube. I still do it. I did it before I was on this live stream. Sometimes you need to get a little bit of different perspective or a little bit of energy from someone else, right? So you can pour it into other people. But to bring that full circle, you're freelancing or you own a business and you're providing a service, right? Even a freelancer is providing a service just the same way a chiropractor is. Everyone's got the same thing, right? You are a business and you sell either a service or a physical product or whatever it is. You need to put yourself in the right mindset to deliver the very best product that you can. So this mindset and motivation and inspiration thing is something that we don't talk enough about. I think it's easier, and everyone wants like that fun trick to get $10,000 tomorrow, or to find a secret backlink to get unlimited internet traffic. But people don't want to put in the work on themselves. You have to be willing to do the effort and to invest in yourself in order to get the stuff that you want out, right? So look at this. All the internet marketers there, you're going to have seen somewhere where you go to a website and they're like, buy now, a 30-day money-back guarantee. You're like, all right, I'll buy it, because if it doesn't work in 30 days, I get my money back. But you don't hold yourself to the same standards. You make a commitment, and then if in 30 days it didn't work out, you say, oh, I tried. Sorry, good luck. Hold yourself to the same standards you hold someone else that you paid $10 to, that you viciously want your $10 back. You have to be willing to hold yourself accountable to the goals you set for yourself and not stop until you get them. So I'm rambling again, but I'm passionate about this stuff because it impacts your life in so many different ways. The people around you, your family, your friends, the people who you inspire that you don't even know you inspire. There's people on your friends list who are watching you who say, wow, that guy Sam really made a name for himself. He did this and he did that. And look at the life he built for himself just because he hustled. And maybe that person's going to start hustling too. You may never know it, but you're inspiring people that you have never even met. Put the work in. It will always come back to you.
Hector says, powerful, true words. Absolutely. I could not agree more. I've gotten messages like that where, you've helped. I don't want this to come off as like I'm patting myself on the back or whatever, but somebody that I've never noticed before comes and like sends me a message and says how helpful, my site has been, or my video, or some video I made in 2016. They say it has been a big help to them. So my point to that story is you never know who's watching. So conversely, if you're, I was going to use a bad word, if you are messing up a lot, people are watching that too. So just keep that in mind. But I know in the age we live in, somebody's always watching. That sounds more ominous than I mean it to, but unless you've like never been on a computer or a phone in your life. So, all right. I don't really have anything else. Does anybody have anything they'd like us to talk about, or have any questions or anything? There's still a decent amount of folks on.
We do have a bunch of questions and comments in there.
I'm sorry?
So we do have a bunch of questions and comments in there.
Where?
I see them mostly from YouTube, I think.
Mickey Mouse. That's interesting. Is YouTube not pulling them over? Yeah, that's weird. All right. Well, Sam says Mickey Mouse. Impossible just means nobody has done it yet. I like that. Man, that's weird. They didn't pull into StreamYard. Kids don't give a F about anyone's opinion either.
It's very much true.
I guess it depends on how old the kid is. Sam says, great presentation, Jim. Super helpful. Victor says, amazing, Jim. Really needed to hear that. Timo says, thank you, Jim. That was amazing. Sam, a different Sam than the one before. I'm really annoyed that I can't show these. It's like a huge lag today. Says, thanks, Jim. I am a freelance coder, and that was very inspiring. It's 3:30 a.m. here, and that was very encouraging.
Awesome. Happy to hear that.
Yeah, that like that. Everybody, no matter what time I schedule that, somebody tells me, "Oh, that's X o'clock where I live," and well, like, yeah, it sucks. But if you want it, you'll be there. Simo says life has been crazy this month: exams, results, stress, and all that. Yeah, but you got through it, right? It'd be like that gif from I think it's from The Hangover. It says, "But did you die?" And no, you got through it, and you're doing well. Victor says, my business needs help with national SEO. Any recommendations, Jim?
My recommendation would be to talk to Chris because of the two of us, he is better suited to answer SEO questions.
Yep, Victor, you can just, I guess the best thing to do would just send my Facebook page, chrismwalker.social, a message, and we'll go from there. So let me drop that in. Somewhere out there that I can't remember who it is. There's one guy that always gives me crap for having so many domains. It's the only way to remember these things. It's like Facebook/page/ you know what I mean? So there's an NLP thing to having a URL that you can remember too. It's why you see guys like Billie Jean and Frank Kern doing that. Let's see. Sam P says, are the YouTube messages coming through? Not really, no. In fact, neither are some of the Facebook ones, so it is what it is. Facebook user says, well done, Jim. Thank you. Frankie says, that was awesome. Thanks for sharing. I got to rewrite my goals because I'm hitting my old goals. Great reminder and motivation to keep growing. And that's where we are.
We do have, I guess I'll read some questions that I can see that you can't. Nix says, nice presso, Jim. Thank you. Nix also says, what's your morning ritual, Jim and Chris? For me, my morning ritual is actually pretty interesting. I have it here. I'll share it with you. This is very related. So I have a bunch of index cards that I keep with me, and I read them before I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning. And they look like this. So I can share some of them with you. This one says, success comes at a price. Are you willing to pay it? This one says, quitting will not get you there faster. This one says, stop asking how long it'll take. Start asking how far you can go. Focus on winning today. This is a practice that I picked up from, actually, I forget who it was, but I find it very helpful and very inspiring to rededicate myself to my goals for the day and my commitment to win whatever I set myself out to do. They could be anything. It could be a quote. It could be a person's name. I've got a bunch, probably 30 here. I keep them with me wherever I go, and I read them before I go to bed and the first thing I do when I wake up. After I get through those, I will usually go make myself a cup of coffee and take my dog for a walk and think for a little bit about whatever. Doesn't always have to be work related. Could just be life. Then I will usually feed my fish and start working. So that's my morning ritual.
Mine is not nearly that elaborate. I usually I wake up. Some days I'll eat a little bit of breakfast. Some days I don't. And then I'll go look at yesterday's numbers, whatever that is, whether it's sales, whether it's ads, whatever. And then I just get to work. I'll have like a bang energy because I don't like heated drinks. I don't like coffee. I don't like hot drinks. And then I just work. I don't really have anything, I mean, obviously in somewhere in there, I get dressed and go to the office. I usually do the numbers at home and then I go to the office and just get into it. So, and some days I just work from home. I've been doing that more often lately. I don't mind working from home when I'm not being forced to. What are you looking at?
Books. Sorry, no question.
Victor says he switched from YouTube to Facebook now. All right. And I think I didn't figure out what was causing the issue, but I sorted my issues. Craig says, I made it. Son wouldn't go to bed tonight. Kids, am I right? Facebook user said nothing. So,
thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure that's another glitch of some sort. And I think we're caught up unless you're seeing more that I'm not.
I do. I have Florence says those. I have them in my head all the time. I don't know what that relates to. Maybe the quotes or stuff, but that's good. Craig says, Jim, have you read Think and Grow Rich? Which is why I was looking at my bookshelf. I have. It's not a book that I have above me at the moment, but I have. I found it enjoyable. I'm trying to think if there's a good book that I have here that I can share with you. Yeah, nothing comes to mind that's better than the rest, but that's definitely one practice that I would recommend is reading. And it sounds silly, and a lot of people are like, oh, reading is boring, I'd rather watch a video. But if you can figure out a way to read, even like I said, if it's 10 minutes once a week, start with that, or just 10 pages, one page, start with something. There's an incredible amount of information out there from people who've been in the shoes that you're about to step into. So why not take advantage of the knowledge that you can get?
Sam P says, so what about sports? Should we stop watching sports? Like, I watch a lot of football, soccer. Would that be a problem? That's kind of up to you. You have to, like, I think it's important to have at least like a half hour or an hour a day to do nothing. And when I say do nothing, I mean whether it's play a video game or whatever. But yeah, of course you don't have to cut out everything. Don't listen to Alex Becker on that shit. You don't have to like cut every little thing out of your life to live and be successful and have a life that's impactful. So no, you don't have to cut that out. Just everything in moderation, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think there has to be, it's not so much like work-life balance, but harmony. So you got to figure out the way that you can kind of harmonize your entire life around the things that help you live your life and the things that you enjoy in your life. For me, I find a lot of my best ideas come when I'm on vacation somewhere or away from work, because you're able to get yourself into like a different mental space. So I advocate as much as possible to like enjoy your life and live it, because you may not be here tomorrow to do so. So, that's what I said before. You don't have to just cut out everything in your life and live in an empty room. It could work for some people. For me, I would never do it. But if you enjoy watching sports, do it. But don't complain if you watched sports for 14 hours and then tomorrow you say, oh crap, I'm late for this client. Make sure your obligations are handled. If you can make sure your obligations are handled and still watch sports, then by all means, have fun.
There's a question that's not... StreamYard's all screwed up for me tonight, apparently. He says, Jeff and Jim, I assume he means Chris and Jim, when is it time for a business to go from a home office to getting an office space, and why? I'm going to let you answer that, Jim, and then I'll give my thoughts on it.
It depends on your environment, right? It depends on whether or not you have kids or dogs or distractions in your home office. It depends on your workflow and how you work best. There is no like one perfect right time. You could have a home office forever if you set it up right, or you could never have a home office and just go right to an actual office space. But it's going to mostly depend on how productive you find yourself. For me, I have 2 kids and there's 3 dogs in this house, and sometimes it gets to be a lot. Right now we're locked down and I can't leave the house to go to my office, but
you are?
I find myself more productive when I'm actually in a physical office space than when I am home. But there's, I think, no one right answer there. It's mostly how productive you find yourself in each environment.
You're still locked down? I thought you were eased up.
Yeah, it goes back and forth every other day.
Nah. Yeah, the reason I let you answer that is because I think that you would be better served to have one, as we have discussed. I have far less, I don't want to say distractions in a negative way. I have far less things that could take my attention than he does, and I still have an office space. I'm still here at almost 9 o'clock at night. And for me, it was a big breakthrough. I can't say when you should do it, because as you said, it's different for everybody. But for me, it was a big breakthrough. I find that it sets up a routine, like it's time to go to work. My brain knows that I'm at work when I'm here. When I go home, I still do work. Who am I kidding? But not like high level stuff. It's time to relax. So when I was locked down, I worked from home and I didn't really care for it. Now I do it like 2 or 3 days a week. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you when you should do it. I think almost everybody is better served by doing it. Nix says the biggest, I assume means the biggest event that made you say enough is enough.
So I actually want to share my screen for a second, if I could.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to show you, this one's a visual. So this is a picture. If you can see my screen.
Hold on.
Okay.
There you go.
This is a picture of my son's 6th birthday. I took this picture at, I think it was like, well, here we go, 8:45 at night. I had just come home from work. I missed singing happy birthday to cut this cake. And here we are at 8:45 at night. He was tired, ready to go to bed. My daughter was still excited. She was 2 years old. She couldn't care less about anything else in life but cake and candles. But this was a half-eaten birthday cake that we sang happy birthday on for a second time because I missed the first one. So this moment in my life, I will never forget it, stands out to me as the time that I realized I needed to shift my priorities and my timing to make more time for things like this, because I was too focused on growth and hitting those work goals that I missed this opportunity. And I'm probably not explaining this the way that I want to because I'm kind of just riffing it off the top of my head, but I'll never forget this moment that I missed being able to share the joy of seeing my son sing happy birthday on his cake, and I had to sing happy birthday on a half-eaten cake. And it may sound weird, it may sound like I'm complaining over something simple, but it was that night, October 29th, that I realized I needed to shift priorities to make more time for things like that in my life and figure out a way to make it work.
Excellent. I remember that night. I remember how much that bothered you. So, for me, I don't know that I had a moment when it was enough is enough. I guess the closest I have would be what started this whole thing is when I was, in some pretty deep credit card debt, and I've decided I was never going to be able to get out of it doing what I was doing. So I started doing some research and found affiliate marketing and so on. So I think that's probably the closest story I have like that. So let's see. What is your obsession? What are you obsessed about?
I'll go first there, I guess. My obsession would be freedom and getting other people to experience the same thing. So for me, freedom is not, how do I describe it? Freedom is the ability to do what I want, where I want, when I want. To be able to work when I want, to be able to physically be where I want. If I want to be anywhere in the country when I want to work, I can. I'm not locked down to live a life that I don't choose. Mostly after that incident, I kind of made a promise to myself that I was going to switch the way that I was living my life to be able to have that flexibility and that freedom to do what I want, when I want, where I want. And what I'm kind of obsessed with now is being able to take that same thing that I'm enjoying in my life and being able to share that with other people around me. So for me right now, that's being able to pour that same energy into the Legiit community and find ways to help a freelancer who's selling a $10 service support their family and be able to work from their laptop any time of day, any location on earth, to experience that same level of freedom. So if I had to sum up my obsession, it would be to empower as many people to be free as possible.
Mine is similar but different. Mine is I want to make the world a better place. Now, I know that sounds big and hippy-dippy and stuff, but it's been a thread through everything I've done professionally, or not even necessarily professionally, but almost everything I've done as an adult before when I was did some activism, some volunteering. I worked professionally in politics for a while. Whatever you think of politics, those are still the people that get to make the decisions that change the world. For me, it's about making the world a better place and leaving a legacy. Like most people, the way they leave a legacy is through children. And I don't necessarily think that's in God's plan for me. So I've, found it through helping other people, whether it's on, in politics or in activism or through my businesses. Like that's why I sell training, because I could charge way more than I do. And I almost lose money on it, as to help people. That's why I like marketplaces, because I can help a lot of people. For me, that there's no point to your life if you haven't improved the world a little bit by living it. I honestly believe that right livelihood and right intention are the key to all of that. So that's kind of what's an obsession for me. Brian says, hey, Jim, it's not about trying something. It's either you will do it or you won't. Thank you, Brian and Yoda. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Frankie says, do you write down your goals every day, every month? How do you guys do your goal setting? I have a feeling we're going to be different on this, so take it away.
So I have two different sets of goals. One is kind of the bigger picture I do on January 1st, just because it's like a mental clean start. And then every week I will set goals for myself for the week with what I want to do. So I have like a larger set of goals that I set for the year. And then every week I have a smaller subsection of goals that will help me make smaller steps to get to those larger goals.
I don't write them down at all. Everything I know everything big that I need to do, and then I know most of the time what I need to do, like on a given day. I'm having to keep refreshing. That's why it keeps bouncing like that, if you're wondering. But that for me, it may not necessarily. Now, I'm not saying that's the best way to do things, but that's what's worked for me. And I don't do well when I have to write things down to accomplish them. It doesn't do the same thing for me that it does for a lot of people. So never, basically, is the answer to that, or rarely. Sam says, oh, all right, makes sense. Thanks a lot for answering all the questions. Totally. Some Facebook user says, good morning from the UAE. Wow, that's probably, I bet that's Alex Jenkins. I'm just guessing, but I bet that's who that is, because I know he's in the UAE and I saw him like the post. So see how in tune with not my community, the community I am, that I can tell even from that who that is.
It's true. It's your thing.
Bruno says, for me, it's difficult to stay motivated and do the most things alone. Finish high school now. And wow, you're young. I'm just surprised because I've seen you around for a while. Anyhow, and I could be more productive, but I distract a lot. What are your advices to be more productive? Not being productive is a symptom of not doing things that you are, I don't even necessarily want to say obsessed, but interested in, and like that you care about. If it was something you cared about, you wouldn't get distracted from it, because unless there's like outside forces that you can't necessarily control yet. But if you're not motivated and you're getting distracted and not being productive, it's because you're not working on something that you have a burning passion for. Now, there are going to be things in life that you have to do that you don't have a passion for. Like, that's just part of life and business in the world. But your overall thing isn't something that you care enough about. So you got to figure out what that is and start working on it. And do you want to add to that?
No, I mean, that was pretty good. The only other thing that came to mind was I have a weird habit that I was talking to Chris about before, is whenever I'm not looking forward to doing something, I kind of trick myself into wanting to do it, because I often find that when I put myself in a position of discomfort, I come out on the other side grateful for what I went through. So I try and intentionally put myself into uncomfortable positions, because I find that's the only way I grow. So it's semi-related to what you're asking there is, I think Chris kind of nailed it mostly, but just don't give up on him.
Yeah. All righty. Nix says, Jim Savelico, got you. Craig says, I totally get that, Jim. Exactly how I feel. Between missing my children's life and making someone else rich is driving me crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the time that you really have to become obsessed about trying to turn the tables in your favor, make it work for yourself.
Victor asks, what are the top qualities to have a business owner to keep strong relationships with clientele? I think that for me, for example, I have one client that's been with me for 4.5 years now. Wow, that's crazy. And that's because I know his business inside and out. I know him personally. Caring about them as a person, I think, is kind of the most important thing. It's the same reason that I have people that have been buying, for example, social signals from me since 2015. I mean, I do have a better product, but it's not just that. It's because they trust me, they like me, they know me, and vice versa. Like just a minute ago, from an empty post, I was able to tell you who that was. By building that kind of bond with your client, I think is the way to keep them strong. And obviously you have to do a good job too. That probably goes without saying, but I think that's kind of the key.
I think for me, it's communication and honesty. If you can maintain good communication with your customers when things are good, when things are bad, stay honest with them, tell them the good news and the bad news, and just, always be straight up. If you're able to communicate and be honest with your customers, it's really what they want. Obviously you still have to, deliver a good service, but they really want someone who's going to be on their side. And that's the position you have to find yourself in.
I have a question for Jim. What is between your monitor and your keyboard in the background?
This?
Yes.
This is Avon. My wife sells Avon. She's a hustler. So she mails it out. She mails out packages every day.
Yeah. His wife.
Yeah, I'm not into makeup. Not my thing.
Mm-hmm. Nix says which is why Legiit is going to be the next Amazon in the marketplace category, because you both share the same vision and obsession. That's what I love. Glorious. Definitely agree with that. And I'm going to have to refresh again. First time I've had a problem with StreamYard, literally of any kind. If Georgie was here, I would blame him.
We can still blame him. It's okay.
Facebook user says, you guys both are such an inspiration. Thank you for being so open. Thank you. Craig says, I had my first order on Legiit from Scott. Thanks, Chris, by the way. Thank you. And he gave me some insights on my service. Pretty excited to implement that. When would be a good time to promoting my services on Legiit? Also, which promotion plan would be the best in your opinion? The weekends have about 50% of the traffic, 50% less traffic. So don't do it then if you can help it. Probably the new and trending section is probably what you get. Well, in fact, it's not probably. It is what gets the most views and clicks and stuff. That said, there might be a waiting list. So I don't know. Those would kind of be my two answers to that. Bruno says, thank you very much. I hope that now finally I can put some effort in Legiit. We hope that too, buddy. I know you'll do well. Florin said, would you guys say a straightforward, honest guy can be successful in this business, SEO and digital marketing? I mean, I'd like to think that you're looking at two of them right now, at least one. Jim's, I don't know, lying about the Avon from before, but but yeah, absolutely. In fact, we need more people like that, because we have a crappy reputation right now because of bad actors. And I don't mean bad actors like, I don't even know celebrities well enough to make a joke there. Bragg says, is it crazy to jump into business with minimal experience? Yes and no. It's definitely not crazy to jump into it. I do think you have an obligation, if you're selling something that could harm someone's business or life or finances, to have enough experience not to screw it up. So you need to have that much experience, but you absolutely don't need to be a master. So you probably have something to add to that, I would think.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that what you could do is just, to go back to the previous question, is be honest and straightforward with your customers or prospective customers and tell them, listen, I'm just starting out. I have a real passion for website design. I've been doing it for myself, for family and friends for free, but I'm just starting out in this business. So if you'd give me the opportunity, I'd be happy to do one for you. If if you can be straightforward and honest with your customers and not lie to them, right? So don't tell your customer, hey, I've got a team of 15 people behind me and I've been doing this for 10 years, but I haven't. Your customers will be understanding of the situation that they're in, and they'll be more likely to give you a boost. And then those same customers will have been with you from the start and want to see you succeed. So they're more likely to help tell their friends and push you forward as well. So really, yes, but it's contingent upon you being straightforward and honest with them.
Yeah. It's a huge pet peeve of mine that in the industry right now, like I can think of at least two big names in the digital marketing space, like course space, that are teaching people to start agencies and just outsource all of it to Upwork. And I think that's a huge insult to the people whose money that you're taking and whose livelihoods you're taking into your hand. And I see them ask these baby questions like that like, it's just very frustrating to me. And it gives the whole industry a bad name because these guys want to sell more courses.
Yeah, I agree.
Are there any more questions?
There are.
Okay.
I can do them if you like. I can't bring them up on the screen, but I can read them while you refresh.
All right.
So, Facebook user, you were correct. You are 100% correct, Chris. It's Alex. Jim will drop you an email later through Legiit about web design. Sounds good. Bonus points to Chris.
Mm-hmm. I'm more proud of that.
We missed what you said.
I said I'm more proud of spotting that than is probably appropriate for something like that. Victor says, thanks, guys. Until next time, ciao tutti. Nick says, I seriously need to find a tech partner like Jim. Can I steal him, Chris Martin? No, he's mine. Brack says, thanks for that answer, guys. I guess charge them what you're worth and build from there would be the way.
Yeah. I definitely, don't lose money on it, but, don't charge them as if you're a top agency that demands that type of price yet. Again, that just goes back to being straightforward and honest with your customers.
Yes. And that's the end of the questions I can see.
Cool. So I did promise that we would give people some money. So I would like to do that if we could. What I'd like for you to do, if you could, is drop a hashtag I love Legiit in the comments, and we'll go through and we'll pick someone and we'll drop some money in your wallet as a thank you for being legit. Seems like a fair enough offer.
I like it. Can I do it?
What's that?
Can I participate?
You can. I won't pick you, though. That'll be biased.
That's just plain rude.
I'm sorry. Facts are facts. I can't tell if you can see the questions or not.
I can see some. The YouTube ones are not coming over. Nick said something obnoxious that I'm not going to read, though. Got some I love Legits coming in. Simo says, haven't gotten any orders for nearly a month now. I guess because I was absent for a long time. Got to get back to business. Yeah, you had some things to work on, and now here they are. Allison said, true, Chris, but it also gives us a good marketing edge for having a no BS attitude. Be upward. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't follow. You read with your mouth, by the way.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't know what you mean by that, really. Chris looks sleepy. That's just plain rude. I'm not sleepy. I already read that. Sam says I love Legit. Victor says I love Legit. Sam says I love Legit. Hector says I love Legit. Facebook. I'm not going to keep reading these. There are just too many to keep up with. Lots of people saying I love Legit. Let's see.
All right, cool. So we've been here for about an hour at this point, a little bit more. If you all have any more questions, drop them in now. Otherwise, we are going to wrap it up pretty soon.
Sam P says at Sam Asifila, you got a cool first name. Why you got to make fun of the dude's last name? So I can turn it into something negative. Allison says we don't sell BS. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. To be clear, I wasn't hating on like Upwork. I just think that's a really crummy way to run a business, is to just sell things you don't understand and have people that you can't even like check up on their work.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. There's nothing wrong with extending yourself a little bit to offer services to a client, but you have to be able to back them up. So, in the event that something goes wrong, you have to be able to stand behind your product. And, I think that's a mistake a lot of people make, is they get themselves in a situation where they just say yes to anything and then outsource it to someone that they've never met before. They do a terrible job, and then you're stuck in the middle with no way to fix it yourself or make it right for your customer. And that's a position you don't want to find yourself in.
Yeah, I saw in the consulting community group a few months ago, there was a guy who was adding this huge value adder post about how he was targeting the wrong niche and how he had this epiphany. He's like, I pitched them $5,000 a month for marketing service, and they said no. And that's when I realized I was pitching the wrong people. I was like, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't have any experience or any case studies. I was like, so really, you were pitching the wrong people. You were pitching people that are smart enough to know to not pay somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing to pay them $5,000 a month. So yeah, you were pitching the wrong niche, but you identified the problem wrong. You have no business ethics or skill to be offering people $100 a month, let alone $5,000. So yeah, I left the group shortly after that because I get fired up when I talk about that, obviously. So Allison says, agree. I have a question, but I'm not sure if it would be considered a support-related one. It almost certainly is if you are concerned about it. If it's that email you sent in like an hour ago, then that's already taken care of. Florin says, thanks, guys. Was a pleasure. Simo says, it's been a pleasure to see you guys again. Looking forward to more of these lives in the future. Till next time, elbow cough, wave. I don't get the elbow cough thing, but... All right. Anything else? Is there any more questions?
No, that's. I think that's about it. So, suppose until next time.
All righty. Yep. Any final words?
That was it.
All right. That wasn't very clever. So, making sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, elbow cough was an emoji that StreamYard didn't translate, apparently. So I think it's that it wasn't actually an elbow cough. It was that stupid thing that the kids do with the.
Oh, dab?
Yes, that.
Dab. I know that.
How incredibly old did I just sound? My God, that the kids do with their hair and the music. All right, enough of that. All right, guys, thanks for showing up. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was a great session. Jim gave us some great information. He'll be taking care of that giveaway very shortly. Tomorrow, programming note, tomorrow I will be back on for my third live stream in a row at 3 p.m. Eastern with one of the better in one of the best selling services, freelancers on Legiit with Robbie Rizik. So that should be fun. He's got some cool stuff to talk about. I'm looking forward to that. So keep an eye on YouTube and Facebook for that. And that's all I got for you. Figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. Peace.